Okay, so I think we can start now. Good evening, ladies, and a gentleman, Emmanuel, and any other person who will be joining us. Okay, so today we are coming back after a long break. The way I said, a long break.
After
We are
2 years.
coming back, and also to start our monthly webinar where we get to have one of us, our very own, to discuss with us, share insights and knowledge on any particular topic that will be of interest to us as women, as career women, as leaders, and as, people in general. So today we are happy to have our own Hajia, who is a very renowned financial literacy expert and consultant who has, vast experience in banking, project with communities, and as we stand for improving the lives of other people and also impacting communities, and as leaders excelling in all that we do, we believe that it should start from us. So this topic for me is quite very important: wisdom in interfaith leadership. We deal with different people from different aspects, varied or diverse backgrounds, and most times we need to understand people's worldview and people's perspective. So today we have Ajia to give us insights on how to deal with different faith in terms of relationships wherever we find ourselves. So Hajia, we are very grateful that you've taken you've accepted to start the process with us all over again, and the floor is all yours. So I hand you over to your audience. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doc. And then, as Doc said, I miss everybody like nothing. I hope that today we would have some fun whilst we learn a thing or two about other people's religion apart from what ours is. I think when I started, I just said putting up the Lord's Prayer and the Fatiha for the Muslims, just to have a look at it. But later on, we'll have a look at it again. So, wisdom in interfaith leadership. As Doc said, whether we like it or yes, we are in a situation where we have to deal with people from other faiths. We are in a cosmopolitan towns and villages. Even when we are not, we are almost all of us are on social media, where we see a lot of people from other faiths, and sometimes we just look at it some kind of scorn, like, what are these people doing? So we'll see what some of these people do, and then we'll see how we can relate with them. Let me start by telling you about Ghana, and then I'll tell you about me, and you would understand why I have to take it from here. So our country, Ghana, as we all know, is a place where Muslims enjoy Christmas more than Christians, and vice versa. I know people would ask, when is Salah? When are we getting our meat? And then when it's Christmas, trust me, even Muslims will decorate their houses and all that. It's a place where a Dagati man, Samini, will sing in Chi and win every award there is to win. It's a country where a Muslim vice president visits a church and quotes the Bible. A place where the Muslim national chief imam donates to build a Christian cathedral. A place where a man with an Ekuapim mother and an Ewe father marries an Ashanti woman. A place where a Jehovah Witness lady dates a Muslim guy and gives birth to a Catholic priest. A place where traditional leaders respect each other. A place where siblings belong to different political parties and yet live peacefully. Let's continue to hold on to this beautiful place called Ghana. Let's shame the greedy ones who want to divide us. God bless our homeland, Ghana. Can anybody share anything I missed from here? And I know we can all relate to this. You can either say it or you can write it in the chat. I'm not seeing anything in the chat and I'm not hearing anybody.
Sometimes silence means all is well.
All is well. Yeah, all is well.
Yeah, I would
Please,
like to say
I didn't hear. I didn't hear.
Okay, so I said I've shared this, what is rolling on the screen. Do you have any other thing to add that I didn't bring up? Funny as it is.
Adia, I would just add, even though it may seem to be similar to some of the things you said, but Ghana is a place where a Catholic woman marries a Muslim and gives birth to children who are charismatics.
Thank you.
That's very funny.
Wow.
I normally ask people, which church were you baptized in? And especially those in charismatic churches, and they're like, oh, I used to be a Presbyterian, but now,
Yeah.
I was baptized in Catholic, but now, and it's
I
a
was a
very
Jehovah's Witness, but now
yeah, it's a common thing these days, because almost all of us belong to one of the Orthodox churches, and now charismaticism has taken over, especially among the youth.
Yeah.
That's great. So now let me try and talk about who I am. Then you understand why I have to do this. So my paternal grandparents, they are pure Fulanis from Burkina Faso. My grandfather was a sheikh, and he came to Ghana in the 18-somethings, and became, most chiefs in the Akan areas have malams who helped them during the wars and other things. So that's what my father did. My grandfather did, my paternal grandfather did for my maternal grandfather. So eventually my paternal grandparents are pure Fulanis, but my maternal grandparents are Bunos from Nkranza. My maternal grandfather was the chief of Nkranza, Nana Kwame Bafueje. And then my paternal grandfather is Sheikh Ibrahim Ba he's a migrant, but stayed in Nkranza. So he was the Zongo chief of Nkranza. My maternal grandfather was the chief of Nkranza. So I have a dad prince who is now a chief, and I have a mom princess. My mom is purely Bunu. My dad is purely Fulani. So that makes me 50-50. Part Bunu, part Fulani. And I have, apart from my mom in my maternal side, who is a Muslim because of my dad, all my aunties and uncles maternally are not Muslims. And my dad's sides are all Muslims. As I said, that makes me 50-50. Now I am married to a man who is half Hausa, half Yoruba. So it means that I am 50-50 and I married a 50-50 man. So our children are 25-25. They are Yoruba, Fulani, Bono, Hausa. I can imagine what their children would also be. I'm yet to see. So this is me. It means that if I chose Islam as the only religion I truly believe in, I lose half of my family. And that is not possible because my mother's sister is my auntie, my mother's brother is my uncle. And if my auntie's children, my uncle's children are my cousins. And so whatever happens in the Christendom, I need to be there because they are family. And that is how you see me flow easily between the Christian and the Muslim folks. So that's about me. Now let's come to what we want to cover today. What is religion? what really is religion? Then I'll use the analogy of the blind man and the elephant. I think all of us got to know about it in the primary school or somewhere, somehow we got to see it. Then we come to our main topic, wisdom in interfaith leadership, building good relationships with people of different faiths and beliefs. This has become a necessary aspect of our lives, and for that matter, our leadership style. Then we can just conclude and then we are out of here. But at the end of the day, we'll try to answer the very big question. Why? So I didn't want to go far to define what religion is. I went to the Oxford Dictionary because I didn't want to go to the Bible to define it or to the Quran to define it. But the Oxford Dictionary defines religion as the belief in and worship of a superhuman controlling power, especially a personal God or gods, depending on which religion we are talking about. Some of the contents might be disturbing, but let's just take it as a learning process. A particular system of faith and worship and pursuit of interest followed with great devotion. And here my theme is on great devotion. And so people are sensitive to it. People are emotionally attached to it. So when you're talking religion, you should also take into consideration people's feelings if you want to go out unscratched. Aside all this, again, I put up a question. What do you say religion is? Can I get a comment or two?
Oh, I would say it is, it is a belief in the supernatural and the adherence to the systems that go with that belief. So yes, it's a belief of the existence of a supernatural and the adherence to the practices, the systems, that go with that belief. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Any other? Okay, let's try to catch up. I'm sure by the time we are done, we'll be away from here. So these are pictures that we are familiar with. We see the Buddha, we see the Indians, we see the church, we see the Confucianism, we see African traditional religion, we see the mosque, we see Jerusalem, the weeping wall, we see the Pope. These are all religions in the world. I'm sure even if we don't know what they are, we've heard about them. So the first one I chose was the African traditional religion. And arguably, every African, that is the root from which we all started. My grandfather, the chief, was not a Christian. He was an African traditional religionist. He didn't believe in Islam and he didn't believe in Christianity, but he was a good man. And I doubt if, according to the Bible and the Quran, he would go to hell. I doubt, I don't know. So this is a religion that almost all of us who have towns and villages can relate to, because this is what we knew before the advent of Islam and Christianity. We all agree without any argument that both Islam and Christianity are foreign religions that was brought to us in Africa. Even though if you understand the chieftaincy system very well, it will tell you it's some aspects of it are tradition right from Israel through Egypt and now to our various villages. And the most common one is the system of the linguist, that is the Ochiami, which is believed to be something that is related from Moses and then Aaron. So whatever needed to be spoken, he would speak through Aaron I hope Aaron is right. And then he will say it to the people. And it's the same thing with the chieftaincy and the Ochiami system. Then we come to Christianity. Christianity, I think majority of us, they said the meeting will end in 10 minutes. I'm sure we'll come back. Christianity depends on its founder, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Oh, and then let me make the disclaimer first. In making these statements or these summaries, I'm presenting the teachings of the religion and not making any judgments about their truth. Please keep in mind the disclaimer so that we don't get so emotionally attached to it. So Christianity depends on its founder, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. I mean, probably more than any other religion, because Christians believe Jesus is the Son of God, or Jesus is God reincarnated into human life. And so you don't just talk about Jesus, but you talk about Jesus as if you're talking about God. And then we move to Islam. Islam means submission. Submission to the will of Allah, and was brought by the Prophet Muhammad in Saudi Arabia somewhere. And it talks about the unity of God, Muhammad as the messenger of God to all people. And I believe that all living things will go back to life after death to be judged by God. And it has and every religion has some rituals that we follow. We move on to Hinduism. I think mostly around the Asia continent, we have the Hinduism, especially in India. So the religion we call Hinduism is actually known as the eternal religion. And its adherents is a collection of diverse beliefs and practices. And it contains a lot of writings. But the most important thing there is Hindu religion is built on some beliefs, and they call God, they call Allah, they call Onyame Brahman. And then Brahman is the ultimate reality of the universe, but not really a personal God. Everything comes from and will return to Brahman. So this is what they believe in. Every other thing is a symbol or ritual of the worship. Confucianism is mainly found, I think, somewhere in China, majority of it. But then again, it's a system of teaching, and it aims at achieving human fulfillment through perfection and the moral nature of individuals in society, especially the ruling class. But aside that, and that's where some of the caste system come from. And it involves, the same way as Christianity and Islam, some form of rituals. Buddhism was brought by an Indian prince named Siddhartha Gautama. He became dissatisfied and decided to bring his own way of life, known as the Buddha, the enlightened one. Again, here, they also believe in a few things like right understanding, right thoughts or aim, right speech, right action, right mindfulness, right livelihood, right concentration. And we know of Buddhism and meditation to be almost synonymous. We move to Sikhism. It's also another religion in the Middle East, and Sikhs believe in one God, and the name means wonderful Lord. Same as Christians, same as Muslims. Then we come to maybe from the Abrahamic religion, the foundation, which is Judaism. Judaism teaches that there is only one God who created and rules the world. Same as the ones that we are familiar with. Aside that, we have this, I think I brought this because we have some in Ghana. That is the Baha'i faith. And the Baha'i faith actually is, if you look at their book, it's the writings of Baha'u'llah is actually bits and pieces of Quran and the Bible put in another way to form another religion. It's just like you do rice and stew, and this time you want to use the rice and stew as jollof. You mix it together. So that's how they also are. Jainism is also found in India. Like I said, almost all the religions apart from Christianity and Islam are mainly found in the Asian place there. This religion, trust me, I'm not able to mention the name well. So I call it the Zulus. But the Zulus believe again in one God who they call Ahura Mazda. And the holy immortals referred to as the Amesha Spencer. Again, there is something that they believe in. And then aside that is the other religions, the billions of religions, which form about 20%. And of course, the people who don't even believe in anything, the atheists. So these are the religions, and then they do their own things. Some of them we like, some of them we don't like, some of them we want to see, some of them we enjoy, some of them we don't. But at the end of the day, they are all parts and parcel of the universe where we live. So I said in the beginning, I'll use this as the illustration of it. So this is the parable of the blind men who have never seen an elephant before. And then they decided they were taken to go and see an elephant. Each of them had an opportunity to touch only one aspect, at one part of the elephant. And this is what it is. I think we've all seen this picture somewhere, somehow before. And everyone swore by what they think the elephant is. And this is very common, especially with religious fanatics. We don't think that anybody who don't believe in what we believe in is done it right. But these are subjective opinions. If the person who has the wall says, absolutely, the elephant looks like a wall, in his subjective opinion, it is right. But he has no idea what the person who saw the trunk also saw, or who felt the trunk also felt. So he would also come and say, no, you are a liar. The elephant is like a spear. Same way somebody who felt the trunk will say, no, it's like a snake. Another says it's like a rope. Everybody is right in their own aspects, but in totality, they might be wrong about what the other person is saying, which they assume to be wrong. And this is for the blind men. Alternatively, it's like me and you. An alternative version of the parable describes sighted men, me and you, experiencing a large statue on a dark night, or a feeling of a large object while being blindfolded. And this again goes to say, because I am a Muslim, the only thing my mind is on is Islam. And so every other person and the things they say might be wrong. And so we see the media coming up with this kind of comments depending on where it is. And I love the first one because everything in the American media is Islamist. The Islamist jihad, the Islamic group, the Islamic this. And so it says, I blame Islam. It's not only about Islam. We have heard about the celebrities talking about the Illuminati. We have spoke with the British at the point we say is the royal family. I mean, everybody has a way of saying sometimes it's the Pope's fault, sometimes it's the we say it's the white males who came and then had issues with us and all sorts of things. And I know we can relate to this very well. But aside that, there is also the whole story, which no matter how exposed, how traveled, how experienced, how read we are, we just might not be able to. So we just finished with this, and then
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
talking about the fact that most of the time we just listen to one aspect of it, and just like people are still in America thinking Africa is one country, or we still live on trees. And you go there and they're like, how did you come here? And you want to tell them I swam across the river and the ocean, but you can't say that. So I came here and said this is the crust of the topic, and it is building good relation with people of different faith. I think I finished with this. So in the world today, people of many different faiths and beliefs live side by side, whether we like it or not. And I was given an example of where in Ghana, we have this excellent way of being together. We start a meeting with a Christian prayer, you close it with a Muslim prayer. The opportunities lie before us to work together to build a society rooted in the values we treasure. But this society can only be built on a sure foundation of mutual respect, openness, and trust. And then I said there are 3 ways we are going to go about this. And A is finding ways to live our lives of faith with integrity and allowing others to do so too. I always say that it is difficult for a child to be born in Saudi Arabia and become anything but a Muslim. Same way, it is difficult for a child to be born in Rome and become anything but a Christian. And most of us are in the religion we were born into. It's only a few that go away from the religion we are born into. And that's why anytime that happens, it's a celebration. So it means as members of the human family, we should show each other respect and courtesy in our dealings with people of other faith and beliefs. This means exercising goodwill, learning to understand what others believe and value. It is their belief, it is their values, and letting them express it in their own terms. Respecting other people's freedom within the law to express their beliefs and convictions, respecting the conventions of others about food, dress, and social etiquette, and not behaving in ways which can cause needless offense. The time our meeting together is but a few minutes. Recognizing that all of us at times fall short of the ideals, even of our own traditions, and never comparing our own ideals with other people's practices. Always seek to avoid violence in our relationships, working to prevent disagreement from leading to conflict. Immediately it moves to the next step. Either you disappear from there or you run away. B, when we talk about matters of faith with one another, we need to do so with sensitivity. Remember, in the definition, we say people follow religion with deep devotion, honesty, and straightforwardness. By this, we mean recognizing that listening as well as speaking is necessary for genuine conversations. Being honest about other beliefs and religious allegiances, not misinterpreting or disparaging other people's beliefs and practices. It is not yours. That's not what you believe in. Just have a look and move on. Correcting misunderstanding or misinterpretations, not only of our own, but also of other faiths whenever we come across them. Being straightforward about our intentions and accepting that in formal interfaith meetings like this one, there is a particular responsibility to ensure that the religious commitment of all those who are present will be respected. Finally, that is C. All of us all of us want to understand and be respected for what we are, and we want to persuade others to join our faith. In a multi-faith society where this is permitted, the attempt should always be characterized by self-restraint and a concern for the other person's freedom and integrity, dignity. And I mentioned the case of Father Campbell and his reposarium at Wager. You go there, he's a Catholic, but he has Muslims, and he's even gone ahead to build a mosque so that he doesn't disadvantage people who won't go to mass with him. It doesn't change him as a Roman father, but it gives him more respect even among those who are not Catholics. Respecting one another's expressed wish to be left alone and the right of others to disagree with us. Avoiding imposing ourselves and our views on individuals or communities who are in vulnerable situations in ways which exploit these. Being sensitive and courteous, avoiding violent action or language, threats, manipulation, improper inducement, or the misuse of any kind of power when we have it. So that is it about interfaith relationship. And then I came to the issue of summary. So I said in summary, I think from what I stressed on what those other religions believe in. And I say from the Baha'i writings of Baha'u'llah, through the Christian Bible, Islamic Quran, to the Zoroaster, the sacred texts of major world religions have created a lasting impact for centuries. We can't dispute that. And we cannot say that other people who follow them are this or that. They know why they do what they do. These powerful messages guide adherents on how to live and act, and the texts serve as records of history. There are countless invaluable stories of faith, wisdom, and spiritual guidance within each of them. There are several types of sacred writings and holy books. Each style varies slightly in content and purpose, but all operate on authoritative guides for religious disciples. Remarkably, almost all known religions have its own set of profound and reliable scriptures and rituals. Each one of them have. These sacred texts are a way to pass on knowledge and belief and give insight into the history of religious practices. We all can learn and gain understanding from aspects of each religion by studying writings that comprise endless amount of wisdom, faith, notion or justice, and morality. Whilst it may be a never-ending task to read every book, which is impossible, understanding such works would ultimately bring humanity closer to having a more profound respect for cultural differences worldwide. At the end of the day, the core of each belief remains astonishingly similar: a universal love and respect for each other. I'm yet to see any religion which says hate the next person or kill the next person. I'm yet to see one. As a matter of fact, living and working is not always easy, and we must acknowledge that. Just because we say it exists does not mean that our senses, our emotions, everything will be able to accept it. Religion harnesses deep emotions, which can sometimes take destructive forms, and we must appreciate those ones as well. Where this happens, we must draw on our faith to bring about reconciliation and understanding. That is only one that can assure us of a safe return home. The true faith of almost all the religions are healing and positive, and we must harness those. We have a great deal to learn from one another, which can enrich us without undermining our own identities. Like I said, our journey together is only short. Finally, together, listening and responding with openness and respect, we can move forward to ways that acknowledge genuine differences which we have according to the different religions, and build on shared hopes and values. So I brought this since majority of us will come from this faith, but then I just choose certain portions of it and I say, let's read it. The Lord's Prayer says, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. In the Fatiha. But I see, and lead us not into temptation. In the Fatiha, it says, guide us, O Lord, to the path that is straight. Back to the Lord's Prayer, it says, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. And the Fatiha says, guide us, O Lord, to the path that is straight, the path of those who you have blessed, not of those who have earned your anger, nor those who have gone astray. Is it not the same thing?
It is. It is.
It is.
Interesting.
But we sit back and then we fight. But we are all going to the same God. All of us have two definite incidences in our lives, that we are born and that we die. And in every belief, we say we are going to a God that we haven't seen. And it is the same God that I know the Lord Jesus gave us the Lord's Prayer from a source that is beyond him. And the same way, the same Lord might have given it to Muhammad from a source that is beyond him. So this is what we have. Why do it? Then I come to the big question. So why can't I tolerate them? I bring my lecture to an end whilst we ponder on the question. Thank you so much for listening.
Wow.
Don't ask me questions I can answer.
Wow. Thank you so much, Ajia. I mean, before we got you back, I mean, we're sharing insights and I have learned a lot. I mean, religion is broad, like I said, that's what my father taught us at a very early age. So we've learned a lot. And in fact, why can't we just tolerate them? That is actually what it is. Because the way the world is going, for me, the task is that we are privileged to share the message. We are privileged to work with people. We are privileged to have people we are grooming. We are privileged to nurture children. So it is what we share with them that will inform them, so that some of these things that we have seen in our generation, although the generations that are ahead are even becoming more challenging, once we inculcate the right trainings into our children and the people around us, I'm sure we will get the message across. So thank you so much. And the floor is actually open for any comments, any questions that Ajia is ready to answer all our questions. So thank you so much, Ajia, and thank you to all of you. I mean, I'm happy because it's been such a long time, but looking at the numbers, I'm like, oh, it means we've all missed ourselves. Thank you so much for coming.
Yes, I'll be the first to go. Ajia, I
Yes,
was
ma'am.
saying that when I saw the topic, and the deliver and the one who is going to deliver. I said, I'm not going to miss this for anything. Because maybe you're not.
Thank you.
You were not there, but I was telling, I was sharing that we come from various backgrounds and we carry our prejudices,
Definitely.
but the world has become so small because of globalization, and it's about time we opened up and really learned, especially for somebody like me. I mean, you guys are even younger, but those of us from my generation, the way we were brought up was totally different.
Yeah.
I'm sure my mother would be scared to know that, I read the Quran, for example, because you see, my paternal cousin is a Muslim. When and married to a Muslim, when I lost my husband, she was sleeping with me on my bed. And she will wake up at dawn and do her prayers right by the bedside. I didn't care. But I'm sure it will be like a no if my mother saw it or something. Why should you allow a Muslim to
come and be praying in your house?
Go and pray in your bed, in my house, in my bedroom, But I engage them on conversations, and then that's when Alaji, the husband gave us. In fact, he brought about 5 or 6 copies of the Quran, English Quran, to us, and I started reading, and I have marked, marks, because it so speaks about what I know in the Old Testament. And I'm like, so then why are we? Why do we?
Auntie Lizzie, I tell people the difference between the Quran and the Bible mainly is the New Testament. The New Testament after Acts of Apostles. That is the work of. But everything from Genesis down to
the Acts, through the Gospels,
John, yes, is there. So what are we fighting over, actually?
And honestly, the Quran even emphasizes, some issues even more than we see in the Bible. For example, as a Catholic, I find the Quran even more appealing when it comes to Mary, Mother of Jesus. Exactly. So it, in fact, we do some of the things that we do out of ignorance, to be very honest.
Definitely.
Most of our hard-held beliefs and lack of openness and our prejudices come from our lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody is saying that we should throw away what we believe in. No, but we should be open to see the foundations of others. So then we appreciate even better what we have. Because honestly, me reading the Quran has even made me appreciate the Bible even more.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's just like the commentary to the Bible.
Yes, in fact, as a Catholic, and I became a Catholic through marriage. So my foundation wasn't Catholic, even though I was born and baptized in Catholic church, and my parents went astray, and then marriage brought him back into a Catholic church. But I've come to even appreciate some of the Catholic doctrines even more because I read the Quran.
Definitely.
Can you believe that?
Thank you, Auntie. Thank you.
That's about it.
Thank you so much. Winnie, your hand was up.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. This has been very, very insightful. So I think my contribution is with the question on the screen, which says, why can't I tolerate them? So I think fundamentally what I have observed is that each belief system or religion, it's on a mission to bring in more people to their side. Fundamentally. So usually when we encounter someone who is different from us, the first thing is to see how we can bring them over. Yes, and bring them over to our side. And definitely that makes it it becomes a contentious relationship, because I also have my belief system. So why do you want to say mine is bad or terrible or whatever? So I think that's sources of tension I have observed. So maybe we can learn how we manage those processes in a better and more healthier way, to be able to live at peace with each other.
Thank you, Winnie. And what I would say to that is, I always tell people it's easier to win people from the known to the unknown. And if I'm a Muslim, I don't know anything about the Bible. What are you going to tell me about the Bible that will convince me? You are better off telling me about the Quran and then telling me what loopholes you see as a Christian, and then now you rope me into Christianity. Same way the other, I am a Christian, you want to make me a Muslim. You should start from the Bible because that is what I know. Then you gradually move me into what I don't know. Instead of parading it as, do you see these people, they are this, they are that, then it goes to bring a whole lot of disclaimers here and there. I know we've all heard about it, Botoko or something, and it's not pleasant because people are there and people have reasons for what they believe in. Thank you. Any other, please?
So I have seen somebody's message. Okay, before the one comes up, Catherine has typed something. Hadia.
Okay. Yeah, Catherine is on. I'll go to the message.
Okay, good. I was going to read what she has typed, but I was going to say she can.
Yes, please go on.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I just wanted to add, I've typed something and I don't know if I should read it before.
Read it, say it.
Yes, that would be nice. That would be nice.
Okay, so I was saying, I don't think it's only religion, but in health, in sexuality, we should tolerate and accept each other and every person. The world is changing in different directions.
Yeah.
We should adapt, accept, and be open-minded.
Definitely.
To summarize this, I think the world has come to a point that any organization or anywhere you go to work or be with people, we have different religions, we have different people in different mindsets. So I should say, in the olden where we were brought up, when you see somebody with a disability, it's, it
was a taboo.
It was a taboo. So if you see somebody with now it's about the sexuality and religion. But I think in organizations that we work, we are not saying we should change what we believe, but I think we should just be open-minded. We should accept them as they are, and we should just tolerate them. And with that, we might even learn more.
Very much on point.
We might learn
my
more.
point exactly. Get close to the other people. Catherine, that's so profound. Get close to them. You might never know what you will learn. I mean, if you're able to pick a thing or two, it doesn't hurt anybody. Any more, please? I think we have 5 minutes remaining. Then we can wrap up.
Hadia, if there are no questions,
Yeah.
I'd like to say that it looks interesting. And I'm just thinking what our next discussion should be, because she said it's not just we should tolerate the new things that are happening, the good ones, of course. So I was just going to ask her,
even the bad ones, because you don't know why the bad ones are doing why they're doing it. And that's what I advocate for. Take it from the known to the unknown. This is what they're used to. Even the bad ones.
So is somebody, I think Hetty is on this page. Hetty, you are in the medical field or the health sector. Let me put it like that. So we are going to put you on the spot. Next month, we want to learn something about, it can be about sexuality. It can be about anything about, like Catherine said, so health, sexuality, something that we would all learn from. So Hetty, are you here with us? Have you
Yes,
agreed?
Doctor, I'm here. I take the challenge.
Oh, that's my
Thank
girl. That's
Well
it. Thank
done.
you very
Thank
much for
you.
taking the challenge.
I
So
take the challenge. I just want to say thank you, Hajia, and thank you, Doc, for this. It's been very insightful. You know, I've been listening and relating it to what we do